Three, two, one. I think.
Watch The Fling Show live on YouTube Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central Time.
The Fling Show. The Fling Show. Y'all wanna know about the mystery of flight? Y'all wanna hear about the scene done right? So kill your TV and just come outside. We're gonna take you on a beautiful ride. The Fling Show. 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 TV and just come outside. We're gonna take you on a beautiful ride. The Fling Show. 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 About the scene done right. So kill your TV and just come outside. We're gonna take you on a beautiful ride. Fling Show. The 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 Fling Show.
Oh, an oldie but a goodie there. I'm telling you right now, it's been a minute since I've had that one on. Welcome to the Fling Show. I'm one of your co-hosts, Chris McClung, and in just a moment, my other co-host, Mr. David Himmeline, will be on. But let's bring you up to date with some things that are going on before then. On October the 28th, we have a age-protected event going to be out there at Shawshank. Don't call it a throwback open for us old turkeys. Ages starting at 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 70-year-old, women, men. Come on out there, have a good time, get yourself signed up. It is live and ready to go on Disc Golf Scene. But this weekend, the weather's going to be stunning, as some of us Houstonians got to witness something we have not seen in months, and that's called rain, which was amazing. And with that rain, supposedly this weekend, we are supposed to have incredible weather. Cannot wait. We have one of my second favorite names of a disc golf tournament called Driven to Disc Distractions. That's a minor league disc golf event. That's going to be this Sunday at Little E. John Berg's Park out there in Conroe, Texas. Sign up is live also at Disc Golf Scene. We also be taking signups day of as well. This is a non-station, so you don't have to be PDGA certified. Come on out. It is a blast. Once again, this Sunday at Little E. Sign up between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors, Lone Star Disc. Lone Star Disc, the only disc made and manufactured in the great state of Texas. Man, they're doing some wonderful things. About to have my revenge today with you, Mr. Dillard. Terry beat me last week. We were supposed to be able to play today, but as I just said just a few minutes ago, we had something that we have not seen in weeks, months sometimes, and that is called a consistent rain. So now I think that's time to bring in my co-host right now, Mr. David Himmeline. How about all that rain? Did you get a little bit over there in the Woodlands as well, my friend?
Oh, all over. I was everywhere. I was the last couple of days I've been driving in it. And I don't know. I didn't miss a beat. I love it. It's like rain. It's like Houston again. I was just, before coming up here to do this, I was on the back porch going, man, I kind of like this 98% humidity. I've kind of gotten used to it. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to some 73 or what was it, 78, 2 days in a row, both days.
It's amazing. I loved it when they were talking about 80 degrees, and you're right. You walked outside, that humidity still just brought you back to, well, it's cooler, but
we're between fronts, and that happens when you're between systems. It just, this mugginess settles over. It's like it's going to be thick in the morning. When you wake up, it's probably going to be dew everywhere, and just your windshields won't. That's the thing I learned from a rider, actually, when Ubering. He told me, blast your heater onto your windshield like in the morning, because it gets crazy. Like sometimes you just can't get that stuff off of there, and just fogged out. So anyway, run the heater, blast it on that glass, heat it up, and you'll be fine. But that's what you're going to be dealing with tomorrow. And rain, more rain. So good job on picking John Burge, Little E, best draining course, except for maybe Steve's out there. Shawshank drains pretty well, but there is one little area at Steve's where it gets some puddling. But yeah, John Burge, perfect place. You will not have a problem.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that weather. I mean, it's just.
How's it looking on the signups for that one? I haven't even looked into it.
That's a big day of sign up.
Yeah.
Event, to be honest with you. We'll end up getting anywhere between 20 and 30 people most of the time, which is the best turnout. So,
okay.
Like I said, it just tends to be like a glorified mini. Not that it's a PDJ certified event, which I think that draws them out as well, because if you don't play the pro side, on the AM side, you get a $30 voucher for your buy-in already. So basically you're getting 75% of your buy-in right back in your pocket. And then there's daily winners. I mean, there's event winners also as well. So you get payout that way. And then you also get payout on the pro side as usual. It's always the same payout that they have always been doing. So you get cash.
Okay, well, I'm interested.
It's gonna be fun.
Sunday, right? 2 rounds
this Sunday. Because there's no way I'd be playing Saturday. Big event coming up. You know what that is. If you're a Texan, what time of the year it is. So there's no way I'm gonna be playing on Saturday unless it's early in the morning. But and for those of you who don't know, we'll just say that should give it away.
Oh, those guys.
Oh, those guys. Yeah. Those guys.
Do they have any trap games at all?
Well, this week.
Yeah.
Trap game.
OU, yeah.
OU, that's
not a trap game. That's a bloodshed game.
Yes, it is. I don't expect it to be a blowout. I expect it to be somewhere, settled within 2 to 5 points. I think that the winner will win by. And that's just typically
going to be a good test for viewers. It's going to be a good test for viewers and Brooks. Again,
yeah.
And the test for the whole system, see how they run that, get those wheels going with the run.
Yeah. It always amazes me, because you always worry about the fact that they put everything on tape already. And so Oklahoma's been able to see the blocking schemes. Oklahoma's been able to see how they kind of, because I watch, me, I'm a football nerd. It seems like the first, 10 plays.
Check 1, 2. Seem to have lost Chris. And we're back. Lost the sound.
I got it. There we go.
There we go.
Sometimes, teams, you got to set them up. You got to see how they're going to defend the play. And so oftentimes I'll sit there and just be like, why don't you have more success early? And a lot of times that's because they're trying to figure out, Okay, well, if I'm gonna get in this set, you've seen me in this set the whole time. How are you gonna defend this run? Are you gonna shift over? If so, is that gonna move the hole over for the running back? And see how that to me is the chess match, right? Because you and I came from a world where it was video where it's just click back and forth, click back and forth, click back and forth, right? He's just, where's that guy stepping to? Is he stepping left? He's stepping right. When they're in this defensive front, what are they going to be doing? Same thing with the offensive side. So I'm a nerd like that. So to me, that's going to be an important thing. I don't see either team breaking out early.
Defensive struggle, maybe.
Unless it's some of the surprise big plays that Texas seems to give up sometimes.
So I'm guessing
so
like maybe
we'll see.
10,
I think that the first half, I don't think
halftime.
I think there might be a few more points. They're going to be a little wired up, a little more. I think there's going to be a few more big plays, and that tends to be the mantra of this game. And Oklahoma, I don't think, has the best defense. And Texas has shown that Rice game, they give up a big play. Kansas game, they give up a big play. Baylor game, they give up a big play. All the scores that they gave up are like this one score, and then they shut them down the rest of the way, and home comes field goal. So I'm looking at maybe a 17-10 first half, something like that. And then I hope Texas just kind of leans on them after that with that size and that just kind of bully ball. Because at the end of the day, football is about attrition. You know that as well as I do, which always blows my mind with these pontificators who always want to get on the team and they go, well, that first half, they just didn't really stomp them and score on every single drive. It's like, that's really not how football works.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's about me just kind of making my will against your will and pushing you around. That is what makes a football game. And all these guys are like, oh, it should be like Nintendo. You just drop back and score. It's like, that is not football. I mean, it just drives me nuts when I hear those people talk.
I think, think about all the years of Alabama dominating. You watch the games and, those teams, everybody had Alabama on their schedule. That was their Super Bowl. That's their national championship. Everybody, their whole year is people wanting to beat them down. They never, there were games where they dominated, but usually it was something like a kick, extra point block or just something kind of mayhem happened. And all of a sudden they got, 2 touchdown lead at the end. It was always just kind of the end. But the key ingredient is dominating the line and being able to push forward, running 3 yards at a time and get a first down with your runner. Because, just less problems. But I think it's going to be, it's definitely every year. It's one of my favorite games to watch. So I think it's going to be a good one. I think Texas wins 2 touchdowns. I'll get 10-7 halftime, 21, I don't know, 21-14, 24-14. That's what I got.
Okay. 24-14. I got you. Yeah. I'm looking more probably around the 31-21. 31, somewhere around there. I think that Oklahoma has some great athletes on the outside. They can push the ball down the field. Dylan Gabriel, he likes that intermediate small passing routes, but he's got these big, ginormous receivers. So like you said, it's going to be up in the front. Texas got some quick twitch up in the front. Oklahoma, we'll see how that offensive line really pans out. I don't think they played anybody that looks like Texas up front so far with that quick twitch. So it should be quite entertaining to say the least. Now, back to what we do and have been doing. I have some wonderful things to kind of go over with you for. Let me see if I can get back to my backgrounds and kind of get us started. Okay, you are right, which is really funny. I thought last week when Tatar won the PDGA Championship Cup, our Champions Cup, that was their final event of the year. However, we were also questioning, what about that Throw Pink event? Well, guess what, Hemi? They're both this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the Women's Disc Golf Championships Throw Pink. Still confusing to me. Once again, it's like everybody names it a championship, or the Disc Golf Championship, which just convolutes it to me. I wish we could get that thing solved. And then you have the Tour Championship for the men. And so I don't know if the Tour Championship was last week for the ladies, and now that they're having to throw pink at the end of the year, whatever it is, I also pulled up who's participating. So it should be fun. I wanted you to kind of give me your thoughts on who you think. Ooh, that was pretty good, wasn't it?
That's a wine
Thank.
induced thing.
There we go. All right. So
Who we got here?
all right. So on the left-hand side, and you have the ladies. On the right-hand side, you have the men. And I went for featured cards. So this is going bottom to top. Okay. Because on the way
Last
this
off
is
the box.
done, it's tea time. So tea times
Right.
featured card's the last card.
Yeah,
And
last
that
off the
typically be
box.
that typically is the guys that everybody's, the favorites, right?
Bombers,
on the left side-
old
on the-
school guy, and then the new, probably the front runner right there in Gannon Burr.
You think Gennenberg's the front runner on this one?
Heimberg on that card. That's who I see winning that card.
Well, here's what I was going to do. I think we should do this, Hemi. I think we pick 3 of our top players in each of these divisions, and whoever comes up with the least amount of points wins. And what I mean by that least is because obviously finishing first, that's 1 point, right?
Got
You
you.
see what I'm saying? And the more
Okay.
points that you get, obviously you finish.
All right.
works.
Top what? 4?
Let's do 3. I think top
Okay,
3.
Top 3. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We got
You-
podium.
Let's do your ladies first. I think we're both going to pick Tatar. I don't think that's just going to be a wash because we'd be both idiots if we didn't, right?
Okay. I'm not seeing ladies.
So you don't
Let's
see
see.
the ladies on the left-hand side?
No, I got black.
Oh, you're only seeing one. Okay,
just see,
let's
yeah,
see if
for
I
some
can
reason.
get it both up. How's that? No?
Not yet.
Okay, so that's odd. You should be seeing both of them because I can see both of them. No?
Nope, just one.
Okay.
I'm looking it up.
All right. No, I'm about to pull it back up. Go ahead, though. You can
Okay.
look it up as well because it maybe help you out there. Let me just go while we talk.
I got the throw pinks. Okay. So
Hey, that's weird. That should both be up there because I got them both now. There's Tatar. There's that one, Missy Gannon.
is this a limited field? They're only
Oh, I wonder if it's because
40
I've got
women.
split screen.
Could be.
Yeah, I was trying to do the old split screen so you could see them both at the same time. But I'm not so sure that's going to work. So let me get back to you. There we go. Let me get back to share screen. Yep, I see. It only lets you share one of them at a time.
Ah,
Okie dokie.
okay.
All right, so we'll just do it this way, and I'll open it full screen. How's that? Better?
I still just got them in there.
Oh, you've only got the men, so I've got the wrong one open. There we go. Better?
I'm looking at it right here. I've got it in front of me.
All right, there we go. So you got Gannon Burr,
Oh, okay.
Barella, Sexton, Lazat, Antila, Dickerson, Heimberg.
Look
Notice
at
that,
Burridge,
you get your
man.
first
He's like
Lone Star
third
guy
card
there.
already. Yeah, Robert already
Yeah,
third
110.
card.
He's
fourth
going
card.
off.
Yeah.
They're all there. Kramer's there. We're going to also pick who we think the highest Lone Star guy will be as well. So that'll be our next one. But it's
Hey,
the
here's a prediction for you.
okay.
Horny Toad Ace. 017.
The new disc.
Yeah,
thrown
it's
it yet?
perfect for that hole. No, but I saw Kramer throwing it, and I saw his excitement on that hole. It's a hole that I've aced in practice as well, and he threw it, and he's like, "That could have been an ace." I think I could hear him saying that, but he's
All
like,
right,
"No, that
so-
thing turned." So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that Horny Toad. I love the name. Great job.
All right, I got one so far. I'm gonna go ahead and pick.
Do I have to pick one out of each group, or can I go further down the list?
You can go all the way down. You can
Because I
pick
have a
whoever you want.
feeling. I have a feeling about this one. this
Okay.
year.
All right. I've already got my 3. And then the last part of that is pick the Lone Star Disc team member on the men's side who you think will finish the highest. And
Okay.
obviously you got Burge there, you got Kramer there, you got LaCastro, you have Emerson. They are all in this field.
I wonder how Emerson's feeling physically, because if they're all healthy, I got Emerson on that one. Do I have to guess that one yet?
You have to write it down.
I'm gonna go
I've
ahead
already
and go.
written mine down.
I'm gonna go ahead and go with Emerson. Oh, I need to
Okay.
write this down.
All right. Now I got to look at the ladies. I got my men's. You got your ladies? You got your men's?
Okay, wait a minute. No, I didn't know I was supposed to write this down.
I'm going to write it down when you tell me.
Okay.
All right. Now here's the ladies. All right. There's the ladies right there. And we both probably take Tatar. So I'm going to take. All right. I got them. You got yours?
No. Okay. Wait a minute.
All right. So you said you're taking Emerson as far as Lone Star highest finisher. I'm taking Nico. I was going to take Robert, but he's kind of had an up and down season this year. And same thing with Chandler. They've both been like on the ocean. It's just been not smooth sailing. It's been up and down. So have you gotten one of them done already, men or women?
No. Sorry. While I'm wasting time here, I saw Andy on the World Disc Golf Hall of Fame at the players meeting at USDGC they have on the Disc Golf Network right now. Andy was leading it. She was the hostess with the mostest.
Nice.
Yeah, and Jay was there. I saw a whole bunch of people that have been on the Fling Show. It was kind of neat. It's kind of cool watching the history of the sport being honored. Mace Man was there.
Speaking of the history of the sport, I love it when you sent me this today.
Those are amazing
trophies
man.
For the years this year. Just amazing. Again, we've been fortunate enough to have the maker of this trophy on the show 2 times now. He happens to be a very good friend of David's, and I've actually gotten a couple rounds in with Mace Man up there in the is he in Wimberley area? I guess not Wimberley.
Mace
Weatherford area, right?
Yeah, I think he's a Fort Worth guy.
Where we played that course,
right?
Yeah, that up was there in Weatherford.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he has been making the USDGC trophies now for what? Well over 10 years, a decade,
10 years,
has he not?
Yeah. Yeah. I have one of those. I didn't win it.
No.
I have a piece of Mace Man art.
Gotcha. Well, I remember you picking that up. I actually remember when he delivered that to you.
Yeah. Yeah. We did a trade out.
Mm-hmm.
I sent him
some
artwork.
Yes, he does great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He does beautiful, beautiful work. But yeah, I remember you. When I was thanking you for sending that today. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. While you do, which one are you working on? The men or the women?
Got the men. I got the men for you.
Okay, what's the men?
I got Sleeper, surprise first time winner. And third place goes to Burr, Gannon Burr.
Okay, Burr.
Local, well, kind of local boy. He's Tennessee, I guess. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Where's he from? Anyway, he knows the course. Heimberg.
Oh, Heimberg. Okay.
Got him in second. And then the dark horse sleeper, Aaron Gossage. Been playing great all year long. It's not a course that suits his game, but maybe he has a breakthrough. I don't know. I'm gonna root for him. See, he's got this rocket nose up putt that costs him when it gets windy. So if it gets too windy, it may blow my whole prediction out of the water.
Well, we both washed on Gannon Burr. That's a loss. So who's going to be their separators? I have Lazat and
Yeah,
Antilia,
that was Lazat was my
and I have
choice.
Antilia
I'm
because I just
picking
think
a
he's
dark
been playing
horse. Just
hot. He's been playing well. He's been in the top 10, and the way we're doing these points, I think that those are good choices. Which Heimberg, great choice, and Gossage as well. We both had Tatar on the ladies' side, so that's going to be a wash. So there's two others that you have to pick. I'm pretty sure you're going to pick one of the ones I have as well. Probably just going to come down to one lady.
Number one goes to this one. I just can't deviate from this because I'd be stupid. Go Kristen Tatar is going to take that one. Is that what we're doing, women here?
Right.
Missy Gannon comes in close.
Gannon. Okay.
Haley King.
King. So we actually have two.
I think Own might be a little too injured.
That's who I have. And I
Okay.
think that she's going to drag it through all the way through. I think that she's just one of those. She's not a quitter. And man, her putting is just phenomenal. And Saldana, is that how am I saying that right?
Solonen? Evelina Solonen?
Yes, Evelina Solonen. Yes.
Yeah. From
all right.
Tampere.
All right. Well, man, I cannot wait to see it this weekend. Looking forward to it. Have you played this course, Hemi?
I have. I played it 5 years. Played that tournament. So for the women's side on the Lone Star team, Deanne Carey.
Okay.
I don't know
over for Jacobs, huh?
Yeah,
I'll take Fajakis, just to have Fajakis then, since she was on the show. Well, you know what? They've both been on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Excellent.
So here's what we should do, Hemi. The winner or the loser, since we're both ice cream fanatics.
Okay. The treat of choice.
The treat of choice, because I'm going to get a chocolate shake. I can just tell you that right now. That's you just guarantee that. I am a chocolate shake fanatic. Sonic, here we come.
What about Whataburger? Those any good? Have you tried those?
Oh yeah, they're good too. Wherever I'm good with wherever they come from. Is on to.
I had one today. I actually had one. I never have a chocolate shake. I'm more of a dilly bar, dipped
tub
cone,
of Bluebell,
dipped cone, Bluebell. Yeah, it's just not enough gooiness.
Okay,
when I got it was good. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was good.
The loser has to buy the sweet treat, the ice cream sweet treat of choice.
Mine's Rolo. That's what mine is.
Rolo
ice cream. So somebody got the idea to put some Rolos, the little gooey.
Yeah, I'm not eating anything gooey anymore. I like to keep my teeth in my mouth, and it that's already difficult enough.
It's pretty blissful. I turned my son on to the Rolo ice cream. It's good.
So you're saying that you're taking Gannon Burr to win this year? Because that was the other question.
I'm going dark horse Gossage.
Okay, you're taking Gossage to win.
I am, and that's a crazy prediction, but it'll give me something to root for. He's got all the skills. He just need to put the putt together.
Okay.
Not his course. He'd struggle. My prediction is I'm dead wrong. I'm going with it.
And I'm picking Lazat mainly because I kind of like him, and I'm kind of pulling for him, to be honest with you.
Okay, Lazat.
I do. I just like him. So,
and who?
No other reason.
Second place.
Well, I have Burr and Antilia. That's my next two.
Antilla.
Yeah, I can barely say my last name. I can barely say anyone else's name. He's going to be Antilia till the end of time now. All right. So now to one of my favorite times, Timmy. I have got for you some new music questions. Okay. One of your favorite genres of music, I know, and I'm going to put you in a time frame so to kind of get you there. It's going to have to be somewhere between 1983 to 1989. Okay. So 83 to 89, that 5-year period, I'm going to guess that these albums that I'm about to bring up to you might have A, been influential, or B, been some of the best albums that you like. So the first one is really if any of these bands kind of struck a nerve with you and whether or not you were a big fan of this type of music.
Okay.
Can you see it? Can you see me now? I'm going to have to put us side by side again. There we go. How's that?
Got it.
So are you familiar
Yeah.
with any of those bands?
I am.
All of them? Some of them?
She definitely Bauhaus, Joy Division. Can't see the one on the bottom right.
The Sisters of Mercy?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're like Church Light. The church, or not the Church Light, the Cult Light.
Yeah.
But they were good. We definitely spun some of those. By spun, I mean, so we had a club in the 80s. We played all this stuff, my band, and we shared DJ time. And we did it. We would queue up. We had cassette decks. We didn't have turntables. They had kind of gone out of fashion, sort of, or I guess, I don't know, or that's just what we had, so we'd cue these songs up with headphones while the other one's playing, and you'd find the cue and then you'd mix, and we had mixing board and all that. We could mix this, we could mix it and all that, but yeah, that's how we did it. So yeah, definitely. Hey, that was a Talking Heads. Yeah. Bauhaus, early members of Love and Rockets. They were the dark
whole band.
side of the dark side of Love and Rockets.
Yeah.
They were pretty much a heavy, I don't know, they led the whole what was that stuff called? The people that wear black.
Goth.
That's what we were. We discovered. So here's a little short. I'll try to tie this up real quick on the club thing. They wanted our band to play every weekend after we played, and we had a pretty good crowd. And we were like, no, we're original music. We wear out our material. We don't want to do that. We'll spin music. And so we made a deal with the Holodome in San Angelo, which was this really cool old, like 60s hotel, and the Holodome had a disco floor, and it was above the driveway, and it was like a little club, and that's where we did all this music. We said we'll spin music, and nobody in little town of San Angelo was playing this music. Everybody was still playing pop music. There was a big division between music, alternative and goth, or whatever you want to call it. There was a big division of it. We didn't know it at the time that all these people were in the woodworks. And so we had a party. This is kind of what started out. We lived in a haunted house on Lake Nasworthy, and we called it the Funeral Party, which is a song by The Cure. And I put a little flyer out, black attire required around campus and stuff. 100 people came or more, and there were all these freaks, like all these Robert Smiths came out of the woodworks in the little town of San Angelo. And so then when we did the club, those same people just plugged right in, and what a blast. Luckily I'd gotten sober during that time, or I might have died because it was Studio 54 at that club. We called it the upstairs room. So yeah, we played all this stuff. The birthday, what? I don't see that.
Party.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up tomorrow driving. I'll have to check that out.
Well, the lineage, you know me, I'm a history buff on music, and not all knowing, but I do my due diligence to read and update myself on it. But when I was a kid, Bauhaus, like you just said, was there to me. They were the godfathers of Gothic, would end up becoming Gothic music. It's the same thing I said about Ministry. Ministry ended up becoming.
Is that where Peter Murphy came from? Bauhaus?
Right. Peter Murphy, David J., Daniel Askins. That was also the only member who wasn't Love and Rockets was Peter Murphy. all the other the original three members of Bauhaus ended up becoming Love and Rockets, which you and I both have an affinity for. So, but the birthday party was probably 30, 40 days right after Bauhaus when they were releasing things as well. I mean, it was that famous, I guess it was a London club where everybody played. It's called the Bat Cave or the Cave, something like that. It was called in London. And that was kind of the birth of industrial music. I mean, Gothic music, or what was to become Gothic music. And the birthday party was one.
But we know it's Gothic. It's not really the title. And what was it called? You know, was it called Gothic?
Goth music. Some people would call it death music, death metal, which I never understood the metal part of it.
Right.
But they had a bunch of different names for and how it all fractured off. But I never really got into that because to me, it was a crossover between where, like you said, pop. It was on the line of pop and alternative to me, especially the bands that we listened to that were very played right when you went to colleges and you heard those for the first time, which was where I heard it as well. But I just remembered the birthday party because they were right there with Bauhaus, and that's what I always said about Ministry. He's the godfather of industrial music, even though his first albums were very synth pop, right? I mean, you go listen to Al Jorgensen's first album, you're like, wow, that's the same guy. Whoa, you know,
right.
He's just now leaned back into that album because he said he'd never played again. He actually burnt the originals because he never wanted to hear that music again. Says he was so embarrassed about it. And now,
stuff.
40 years later, people still love that. I think it's Halloween.
Yeah, it's like,
so
all
you know
need
now
is a
he's
backbeat.
playing it now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. You know how artists are. Sometimes they don't think it's good enough. They just throw it away. I had friends of mine that were like that, you know, they'd make something and instead of giving it to their friends, they'd just throw it away or burn it because they didn't want it out there. They're like, I don't want people to know that was mine. So, hey, you know,
it's because the being you that you talk about is that they're you know, what do they call it? The empaths. They're empathic. They have feelings about things like that. Like people that are artistic and have that kind of mindset sometimes are the same ones that didn't want to kill bugs when they were kids. You know, they have kind of this Buddhist lean to them. They feel things, you know, and so the things that you're attached to when you're in a bad situation, or if it's perceived as cheesy or whatever, you know, art in the art world, I'm talking about music, I'm talking about, you know, artwork, whatever. If you perceive your own stuff as cheesy, you might feel a little bit something, you know. But I get that because I get these little surprises when I'm driving because my car is smarter than me. It plays my everything in my soundtrack and plays Spotify, and sometimes just stuff pops out from my music collection that I wrote, and sometimes it's something like that where I'm like, I would have burned that probably 10 years ago, you know, but now that sounds pretty cool, you know.
Right. It's ahead of its time. So now I picked 4 albums. Okay. 4 different bands.
What's the bottom right?
That you like all the none of these. I've got another set of 4. Okay. Another different 4 bands. These 4 bands, I think you're a fan of. Okay. Now, out of these 4 bands, I want you to tell me which one of these albums you would pass on and have people go, you know what, that's a band you need to listen to, or an album you listen to, or maybe I named a band, but not the right album. So you kind of fill us in on that. Okay. You ready?
Okay.
A band that you and I kind of disagree about, but you're a big fan of, The Smiths. You're a big fan of The Smiths, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
You know, I've seen the Cocteau Twins, one of my favorite shows. I also had the blessing to see these other 2, This Mortal Coil, as well as Clan of the Zymox. All 4 of these albums, all 4 of these bands, I think that you're fairly familiar with, are you not?
Yeah, the top 2. Not familiar with the bottom. What was the one on the left?
This Mortal Coil and Clan.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while though, and I wasn't, you know, totally hooked into that, but I'll have to go back. I'll have to Spotify that one, check it out tomorrow. But yeah, on the top there, Cocteau Twins. How many guitars did they have on stage?
when I
You
saw him,
remember?
I think, do what?
Do you remember?
Ah, man, it's been so long, Hemi.
They were so influential in the way I play guitar and the way I record and produce music, because they would just come up with a little chimey loop almost, and then piece it together with other, you know, layers of chiminess until it just became this sort of ambient, blissful sound. And then you got this crazy singer. I've studied and looked her up before. I can't remember her name, but she is known for really not being able to understand what the hell she's saying when she sings, right? And that kind of, Cocteau Twins, you just sort of know you're not going to know what she's saying, which I love that about that, and especially compare that to the Smiths and Morrissey, which is in your face, you know exactly what he's saying. It's like, it's over the top theatrical crap, really, but it's a shiny way to produce, poetry and prose. That's what he's doing. But the reason I like the Smiths, they had behind them, they had the best rhythm section around at the time, and then a really innovative and great guitar player in Johnny Marr. He was pretty much the reason I wanted to play guitar when I first heard those early Smiths albums, that bright, shimmery Stratocaster guitar. I'm like, that's the sound. So yeah, he's got to go with, do I have to pick one?
Yes.
Oh,
Elizabeth Fraser is the lead singer's name.
Yeah.
And before you pick one,
she thinks that you can hear what she's saying. I've heard that before. She's like, I don't understand why people don't understand what I'm saying.
And before you pick one, I have a strange story in regards to those bands. I know you probably didn't know this, but This Mortal Coil is actually, that lead singer is the same lead singer of Cocteau Twins.
Oh,
I got to go watch,
Okay. Now
I got to go
interested.
Watch them at it used to be a club. It was off of Richmond, right off Richmond and 610. Basically, there's a strip center of businesses, and it used to be inside there was a club. I wish I could remember the name of that one, and I'll think of it. It comes to me as I get older. It takes me a little longer. However, my friend Ash, which you're very familiar with, Ash, he had that CD right there, that bottom one of This Mortal Coil, because he really loved This Mortal Coil, and I did too. And he wanted to have it signed. And this was a very loungy kind of a show. Okay, when you asked me how many guitarists they had, they had quite a few people kind of coming and going as the show progressed. So it was hard for me to remember. Anyhow, after the first set, because they played two sets, the lead singer was walking through the club. It wasn't a whole lot of people. I don't think there was probably more than about 250, 300 people there. And Ash walked up to her and he goes, "Hey, would you sign this for me?" Because she was signing things for other people, and he was kind of waiting until somebody else asked. And he walked up there and asked her if she'd sign it. She turned around, looked him square in the face in whatever British accent she had, or I think she's British, and said, "I do not sign that trash. Take that away from me." And it was just like he came back to me like a wet puppy, just like, "She won't sign it." I was like, "Well, why is that? She's signing all that other stuff." And so he told me the whole story, and I was just like, artists are odd. They're just odd characters. I've had run-ins with other artists. That's not the only one that I've run into, and I've told you some other stories, but that was just a very strange one, in a very strange setting, and she was just like, but from what I'd heard later on, they were suing each other for royalties to the albums and things like that, because, as well as I do, a lot of this music became much more successful after the fact, right? It wasn't when it first came out. They started trying to get followers later. So, but anyway, that was a funny little story.
Have you ever seen Hope Sandoval?
I have not.
Interviewed. She's but not Cowboy Junkies. What's the name of that band?
I saw them
Anyway,
as well.
she's the most awkward interview I've ever seen. And it's just like, I guess they see the press as an opportunity to sort of like stiff arm sometimes, especially in that age, you know, all through the 80s, it was really cool to be a jerk, kind of, you know, especially as a musician. It's like on stage, we talked about this before, a real kind of morose sort of non-movement, you know, just sort of, we're too cool, and we don't talk about our songs, you know, we don't tell you the story. We're going to play a whole bunch of songs. So there was a whole bunch of kind of dark heaviness. I mean, Talking Heads obviously, you know, weren't that, you know, they were definitely more theatrical, lots of movement with them, you know, but it seems like there were a whole bunch of morose bands. And it was cool to be that way.
Oh, for sure. I've told you the run-in I had with Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails, and Al Jurgensen, and Gibby Haynes of Butthole Surfers, and just the type of alpha males that some are and then some aren't, right? Especially on the lead singer side.
Well, I found
same thing with drummers. You know, you tend to, when you meet
anybody
them,
who's focused in, you know, any business or whatever, you know, like I'll drive somebody who's like a physicist or something, you know, anybody that's that focused in their world, they're not going to take their time to be all jolly with you. You know, this happened with me and Jeff Buckley. It happened to me with David Crosby, people that I ran into. And one was at a show, Jeff Buckley at an acoustic set in a record store there in Austin. Can't remember the name of the store, but anyway, I asked him if he had known this other artist who I was into from California, because I thought they had kind of a similar vibe. I was trying to strike up a conversation, and he just said, "No." Do you know this guy? No. And he just like, he stiff armed me, you know. It was like, and I was that puppy who got defeated by this famous, you know, guy. But I was just an idiot, you know. That was not a good question. I should have had a better question ready, or sign this. Maybe that would have been good. He's sitting right there on the rail. Waterloo Records is the name of this place.
Oh, of course, in
Tiny
Austin.
venue. There's like 40 people in there. Yeah.
You talking about in Austin?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's of course, 6th Street and Lamar.
Yeah.
Right there on the corner.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
parking whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. Still there.
Yeah, I've
And
seen. Matter of fact, that's funny. I've seen a couple acoustic sets from bands that were nobodies, right? That
Yeah.
you know they were just trying to make it. So Waterloo was famous for doing that, though. I love that place because that was one of the places that you could go in and listen to the albums, or you could go in and put a headset on and listen to the new stuff before you bought the whole thing, because
Right.
kids today have no earthly idea what it was like to commit, because sometimes you're buying it on reputation and the artwork on the album, right? You're like, oh, okay, I got to have that, you know, get it. And there's like one good song. I got like a 250 CDs that are one good song, one hit wonders.
Yeah. Well, my record store in San Angelo is called Yellow Rose. That's where I got that black bass guitar behind me. But he would let you record anything. It was early Spotify. You could take a cassette in and you could go through his whole entire album collection, used albums, and just put it onto your cassette. No charge.
Yeah, the art of making cassettes. Remember that? I mean, that was what we would dance to. We would make those tapes where we take like the Gap Band and Earth, Wind and Fire and The Time, and we'd take one song and to get it just perfect, so they would just laugh. There would be nothing in between. I mean, it was an art form. And I mean, those were the life of the party. You put that in, and people were like,
be up all night doing that, mixing tapes, doing whippets.
Oh, no, didn't have any of that stuff. I thought you meant dancing to Whip It. Whip It right?
Good. Yeah.
Whip It
we did that.
Yeah.
And it was all,
Whip it all night.
It's funny you pointed that out. It's all about that segue between one song to the other. And I mean, DJs do it all the time.
Yeah.
But we made mixtapes like that, and we'd pass them out. And I still have,
of course,
3. I call them the love tapes, and there are 3 of them. And it's got all that stuff on there that some of the stuff you put up there today.
Oh, I've still
Peter
got mine
Murphy,
as well.
Peter Murphy song, that one was kind of always the star, that the segue on that song I used to look forward to. But that, oh man, the days of the cassette. Is the CD going away? I mean, are we gonna have anything to put artwork on?
I don't see
digital?
anybody even putting them. I went to Walmart the other day to get what was I doing? I was getting the oil done in the car, and so I just meandered around just to waste time. And I said, well, let's go look at the CD department. And Hemi, I mean, I think there might have been a rack, and there might have been 50 total CDs, not artists, just 50 total CDs for sale. They had more vinyl for sale than they did CDs for sale.
Well, that's good.
And I was like, wow, it's amazing. But it's amazing how it's flipped, right? You know, before CDs were like, oh, these are easy, they're small, you know, doesn't take a whole lot of space, they're light, you know, they last longer, although they get scratched worse. I remember, oh, they don't scratch. Man, those things they scratch worse than anything, those damn things.
Yeah. Well, and you know, cars stopped putting CD players. You know, you can't even play your CD in your car now. You got to have a streaming service or YouTube or I don't know where you get your music from, but that's where we're at. It's good to see that albums vinyl has kind of stuck around. It's a good place to put artwork.
I do miss it for the art, like you just said. That was my favorite thing about new bands is, you know, just to see the artwork. You know, sometimes that would be, did I buy this one or did I buy that one? You know, you only got so many nickels in your pocket.
I got Meat is Murder. I got to go with the Smiths on that one.
Meat is Murder. Okay. I know you're a big Smiths fan, but for some reason, Morrissey just never did it for me. I did like the Smiths much more.
I get it. I wish there was a way that he could have been that expressive with his words, you know, prose, poetry. He was a really good writer. He's a great lead singer, but he had that falsetto that was just bloody awful, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Robert Smith, give me him all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking about tone and mood of music and lyrical content, sure, they spoke pretty much about the same thing.
You know, just the person that they are, you know, like Morrissey is, he loves some Morrissey, you know.
And The Cure sometimes could be the happiest depressed band ever. You know, some of their songs could sound so uplifting and so just like you thought you were in a bed of flowers, and the reality was what he's singing about is in a bed of depression, right?
Yeah.
Which is it's kind of funny about The Cure that way, is because when I first listened to them, I never really thought about them that way because I didn't really take them as the lyrical content he was putting out. It was more just, man, I just love this music and the howling of his voice and the sound. And then you see him live in concert and he's got that big old hair and, you know, sticking up like, you know, the biggest white afro I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, okay, that's unique, you know, and then their backdrops were very, you know, psychedelic and things like that. And you're like, so depression wasn't always the thing that I took away from it, or his downness of life. But the Smiths, the moment I heard that I was like, oh my gosh, whew, he's just not happy. You know, he is one sad dude, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying.
I
some
guess
bands just do that for me.
I
can
separate, you know, with this band because of the quality of the rhythm section and the guitar playing. It's like I can separate for some reason, because usually if something really stands out as odd, and I guess I appreciated his melodies, you know, despite his sort of operatic attempts, you know. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. I'm like, why'd you have to go there? But
yeah, you could have left that one just alone. Yeah, it'd have been good without all that. That's for sure. Yeah, just not my cup of tea. But yeah, I had a feeling you picked the Smiths. But if it, to me, I want someone to listen to an album and you've never listened to one before, go listen to this Mortal Coil.
Yeah, I'm doing it
tomorrow, I mean, that is just, it's haunting. It's beautiful. It, I don't know. for that time in my lifetime, like I tell you, I love Upstairs at Eric's by Yaz. This is another one that I put out there it is alternative. It's got just some beautiful gothic sounds to it, but at the end of the day, it's just a beautiful album. So yeah, I highly recommend this Mortal Coil.
All right. And I'm going to recommend Peter Murphy,
Deep
solo project. I guess it was right after his first solo.
Deep.
Yeah, definitely.
Deep. I took Elizabeth to go see him play live.
Yeah,
she got to watch him play at La Zona Rosa in Austin, Texas.
Oh, nice! I played that stage.
Yeah, so it was in this, in the larger one, but
yeah,
we got to sit up on that riser and seats. Yeah, and she never really heard of him and didn't realize how theatrical he was, because he was. A lot of people always used to say about Peter is that he thought he was going to be the next David Bowie, right? He kind of had that very flamboyant, theatrical theater kind of, his voice was just so bass. He's so bass driven. Yeah. But live, he is a hoop, because I took her to see him there. And then of all people, I saw Peter Murphy opened up. I saw Peter Murphy and Nine Inch Nails opened up for him at the on campus at University of Houston at their Coliseum there. And it's the first time I see second time I saw Nine Inch Nails. They booked that band, and that was inside of an auditorium that was built like in 1920. So those seats were bolted to the ground. And that was the heyday of the industrial music, when pits were really, as you and I know them, violently violent pits, right?
Yeah.
And Trent walked off stage because they were telling the members in the audience to sit down while he's playing. And if all music you don't sit down to was Trent's Head Like a Hole, that first album that he made, here he is opening up for Peter Murphy. It was like, okay, somebody didn't really think this grouping out here, right?
Yeah.
I understand bands not going together, and I've seen quite a few shows where the band's like, the opening band's like, whoa, I don't even understand that, right? Like Jane's Addiction is notoriously loves to give, and right, so you'd see them and it's just like, wow, that's not who I thought would be opening up for Jane's Addiction. It was great. But I tell you what, Nine Inch Nails and Peter Murphy, two different crowds. You had industrial, hard edge, alternative guys wanting to slam dance, and then you had the gothic kids all painted in white. It was very unique. I'll say that.
Strange mix. Yeah. I'm thinking it's a recipe for a flop of a gig. How was it? Did they do
Peter Murphy killed it. He is so theatrical. He does such a great job. He doesn't need much, right? He's up there by himself. The band was you could not even see him. So it was him in front of a screen. And of course, the screen had a bunch of different, things that were on it. It was just him just kind of dancing and doing the whole, it was a whole Deep album. It was amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah. I got stories for days on bands like that, but yeah, and that was funny. Nine Inch Nails opening for Peter Murphy on campus at U of H. Yeah. At an old theater.
Crazy.
Yeah. Anywho. So anything else you got this evening?
Let's see. Oh, congrats on, Andy doing the World Disc Golf Hall of Fame. That was cool. I'm going to go back, check it out. It's on Disc Golf Network. You'll see a whole bunch of old people being honored, and it's pretty cool. Some of the stories were intertwined with my own. Just one guy who was he was honored for his artwork with the PDGA or something, or his, I don't know, whatever he's put into. He was on the forefront of a lot of art stuff, and he talked about his first course was Carrollton, Texas, and I have a funny story about that same course where we went and played after a rainstorm. It was when I first started. I didn't really know that you were supposed to give discs back. And it was like Easter, and I was there with my nephews and nieces. There were like 5 of them, little kids, and I was turning them on to disc golf. And we found like 50 discs just laying out because the creek had washed them all, and they were just all over the place. And so we're playing and just picking up discs and going, yeah. So these same batch of discs, like 20 years later, I'd be in their garages and they were like, yeah, I'll never use those. It's like first run AVR or something, just some really sought after disc at the time. I was like, man, you got some good stuff over there that day. I gave you a lot of stuff. Anyway, same course. And so this guy was honored. The guy seemed really humble, and he was giving props to all the great artwork that's out there now. And I want to give a shout out to whoever does stuff for Lone Star. I don't have a name, I don't know how it all comes about, but their artist series is great. I mean,
I know who does it.
Okay. Well, tell us.
It's a brother.
Oh, okay. It's Travis's brother does all that. Are you kidding me? Sinjin.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I love it. And the BB6, one of my favorites, the Screwball, that's probably my favorite one of all the stuff he's done.
Now he comes up with the conceptual part of it, and he has artists draw it for him.
That's cool.
So he is the one who is in charge of that. As far as the naming goes, that's between all of them. Actually, Dad had the majority up front, but now they're just kind of running into the fact of there's only so many names out there that you can use that you don't,
that's the thing, though. That's the thing. Like, you would have thought somebody would have already come up with Horny Toad. No, I mean, they do stuff like that. I'm kidding. Nobody's going to come up with Horny Toad. How does this come about?
Because Travis, it's funny that you say that, because I had a conversation with Travis about that. And he looks, and Travis is a disc golf nerd. Everyone who knows that about Travis, and he'll admit that, he goes and he reads every name that's out there because it's alphabetized. It's in alphabetical order, right? So he's able to look and then fit in, his, and a lot of that stuff, like earlier, was with the kids. And then you had the stuff with the Navy, then you had stuff with the military, then you had the stuff that's more Texas oriented. So they're trying to kind of fit into, they got a few ideas of what they want them to be named after. And I agree with you, to name them after battleships and aircraft and things like that as well. Genius idea. Then you have the lariat, things like a rope, who would have thought that no one ever they named the disc the rope, the
dome,
the dome,
the Astrodome.
Yeah. It's
the eighth wonder.
It's someone who loves their job. Travis loves disc golf. He loves everything about it. He lives it, breathes it, eat it, talks about it all the time. That's why when we go out and play, we don't talk about it. We just play disc golf. That's the one promise I always make to him. He likes to go out when he plays, and I respect that about him. But I'm talking about someone who knows a lot about the subtleties of disc golf. He knows the statistics. He knows the companies. He knows how long it's been around. He's immersed himself in it. And I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah. And same here. So good job, Sinjin.
Oh, yeah. We didn't get to talk about the Piney Woods Open this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
While you look up the winners of that, I do get to talk about the winners of my friends group. And that is Treg, Jordan, Chris, and Travis went up there, and they all played M2. One of them, Jordan, he got off to a quick start first round, and he's been in the top 10 a couple of big tournaments this year. Ended up kind of falling to the wayside as the second and third round came up. So that fourth round, the last round came up, and they were all within about 2 shots of each other. And beforehand, I'd already written down, here they are right here, who I thought was going to be the winner. In this tournament, for some reason, the way they've been playing, I picked Treg to win. I thought Travis would come in second. I thought Jordan would come in third, and I thought Chris would come in fourth. And by God, that's exactly how they finished. And it was very fortunate for a couple of them. I feel for them though, but that last back 9 must have been extremely difficult, because holes 16 and 17 were just eating their lunch. I mean, it's a 5-stroke swing there. I know Jordan took. So, but congratulations, Treg. I had my money on you the whole time. Not that I love all the rest of you, but I had to pick somebody, and that's who I picked.
All right. Is that first place in the tournament or among those players?
Just among those 4, because I do believe that they were 18th was what Treg came in.
Oh, okay.
And then the rest of them were like in the top 24, 25, I think it was, because you start tying when you start getting that low, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That starts increasing. But anyway, they were all in the top 30. And what they have 400 participants, something like that. What'd you pull up?
No, I haven't. I gave up. Sorry. I couldn't find it.
Oh, yeah. It's the Discraft. It's the 2023 Discraft Piney Woods Open is how they have it listed. I remember, yeah, it was kind of a pain in the butt. Let's see if I can find it real quick as well, because I had it already
the 20th anniversary
picked up before. Disc golfs, and let's go back to the other one. Let's go disc golf scene, because I like to.
Oh, okay, I got it now. So Emerson loses out to Miles, who's won it like 20 times, probably. Miles Sebring, who was on our show a long time ago. You remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
Because when did we see him? We saw him up there in outside Nacogdoches, right?
Yeah. And there's Seth. Hey, you haven't seen him in a while. Talbot.
How did Freddie do?
Freddie's 8th place, tied with 3 others.
Well, he'd won it last year, right?
Yeah, he was 12 strokes back of Miles.
Wow.
He shot. Freddie was still well over 1,000 rated, but he had that one bad round, 963 right in the middle. Probably took him off the podium there the second day. But that man works hard, and he's a great daddy. I can see how it's affected his game, when I had kids. That's when I played my best golf, though. When the kids first came, when they were little, because I had to push them around. I was the stay-at-home dad. But yeah, he's got his plate full there. But good finish, top 10. He beats GT. He beats GT and Chris Harris and Farnham, and it's a good finish.
It's funny how they when you just said that about having kids, and you kind of lose out a little bit on your disc golf. It's kind of like when they talk about the lost years of Jesus Christ. Sometimes when you have kids, it's the lost 18 years of children, right? When you become a parent, next thing you know, you wake up 18 years later and you realize, oh, wow, okay, I got to catch up on what music is cool now. What are these kids talking about?
Right, and you've been watching Rugrats for 10 years, cleaning diapers. But
yeah, I tell people all the time, I know every Pixar movie from 2000 2010. I've seen them all, every single one of them, at least probably like 10 to 15 times a piece.
What's your favorite?
That's funny you ask. If you're talking about Pixar, I loved Finding Nemo because it was one of the only ones where the dad was important. Because what I started noticing is a lot of these shows, dad was almost non-existent. So I really enjoyed that. I love Monsters Inc. That was another good one that they had, another good series that they had. But I mean, we watched Ice Age, we watched them all. Toy Story, you name it, we watched them.
Same here. For me, not the movies, not the Pixar, but the Nickelodeon stuff. My favorite was Rugrats for sure, just because of the music. If you go back and listen to Rugrats, it's all reggae. And so I would sit around with my little classical guitar and just jam out while watching Rugrats over and over. But it's funny, I had 2 boys. Everything had to be cartoon with Presley, with my younger. And my older, everything had to be like what was it? The Ninjas, The oh god,
Turtle.
what?
The Turtle Ninjas, Ninja Turtles.
No, I'm not talking about the other guys. The
Oh, like real ninjas.
oh, I can't remember.
Right. Yeah, I got you.
Anyway,
Like martial artist ninjas.
yeah, and trains. He liked real thing. He liked to watch real movie stuff, like people,
Mhm.
And then my youngest was a cartoon guy. It all had to be cartoon, everything cartoon. So two different personalities. But yeah, I got to go with Rugrats. I think I saw the movie. Probably saw it 20 times, but forgot. But
We liked Franklin and Little Bear.
Oh, I love Franklin.
Yes, because he was so nice, and Little Bear was like he was just a spinoff from Franklin anyway. But I liked that because they were so nice. Because I couldn't stand Dora the Explorer; they just yelled the whole time. Not that I didn't appreciate that they weren't teaching my children Spanish, because obviously our elementary schools weren't going to do that. They only speak Spanish. People can speak English, but that's okay. We'll digress and won't go there. But Dora the Explorer, she just yelled too much. But Franklin and Little Bear, they were just so nice. They had that kind of Mr. Rogers kind of feel to it.
Mm-hmm. And Kipper. Did you ever watch Kipper?
Oh, of course.
Kipper. He had this soft British accent. I liked Kipper. That was a good one.
And then there were a couple. My daughter liked the one about the Persian cat. I forgot what that one was called. I'll think of it in a second, but it was a cartoon, and I cannot think of the name of that, but that was kind of neat as well.
Did you ever get into the dark ones?
Teletubbies?
Cat dog. Yeah, Teletubbies was pretty weird.
Dark. It's pretty weird, man.
And that was before you could, get good mushrooms.
Yeah, my kids, it scared them. They didn't like those. So it scared them. They didn't like it.
Oh, did you watch Cat Dog? Cat Dog? That was pretty brutal, pretty weird. What was the other one I was thinking of? The guy he would say, "Stupid dog." He was an old man. He was like, "Get off my lawn," guy, and he always got abducted by aliens.
No, missed out on that one.
Aliens weren't kind to this old man,
So he took it out on the dog.
Creepy, man. What a creepy show. What was that called?
Couldn't be any more creepier than Sigmund the Sea Monster and or HR Pufnstuf. I used to think those things were like so like, oh yeah, they were so light. And then you go back and you watch them, it's like, no, she wants to kill him. I mean, they're always trying to kill, Johnny and Mr. Flute. And I'm like, man, and then Strange, you're talking about Strange. Go back and go back and watch an episode of HR Pufnstuf, Hemi. Whatever those guys were on, people need more of it. I can tell you that. I don't know what that was, but I watched it the other day and I was like, wow, I don't remember it being this way. I mean, the outfits, the clothes, it's just like, oh, okay.
Here, I got another one for you, trippy, about that time period, but different medium, different show altogether. What was it called? Gunsmoke.
Oh, yeah. Big fan.
Watch one of those.
We watch it all the time. It's still on BTV. My wife, we watch it during this on the other day.
Man, they get into some heavy material. Man.
Yeah. It's amazing how many of those people start off with killing somebody and then trying to figure out who killed who. Mm-hmm. But it's always with somebody killing, stabbing, hanging, something terrible that these people happen. You don't.
The one that got me was this little girl, and she had her parents had been killed, and she was adopted by her mother, her aunt. And who adopted her, but her aunt wasn't very nice, and her only connection to anything loving and joyful was this horse. Well, the horse would come to the window and they would talk and stuff. Well, the horse breaks his leg and they got to kill the horse, and they kill the horse. It's like, I'm watching this going, Gunsmoke, why do you do this to me, man? But it all worked out in the end somehow.
Yeah, the life lessons. It's at the last 2 minutes where they give you the life lessons, right?
Yeah, I don't know how it works out.
She got a new pony or something. Something probably.
Well,
got, found a new family who loved her and a new pony or something. Usually that's how those things worked out.
well, we digress.
Yes, we very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. All right. Well, if it's going to rain tomorrow again, dang, because I need to get out there and play. So I am planning on playing Saturday morning, probably very, very early before the Longhorn kickoff, because they kick off at 11.
Let's go to Little E and get a little preview.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Can do it because that's another thing. We need to talk about that new course. The Memorial course out there, Patty Eric Memorial course out in Tomball, Texas.
Okay.
Houston Flying Disc Society is having a doubles tournament out there, I believe, with also Cypress Disc Golf. So you can look and find that stuff on Facebook. But I know that Egan and some of the other guys got an opportunity to go play it. So I almost got to, but had some truck difficulties. But I want to go out there and see what that course is like as well. But you know what? We all know how Tomball and Magnolia is. It barely rains and it becomes a mush pit out in that part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It holds water. It's flat.
Yep.
All righty. So Little League Saturday morning, we'll see if we can drag somebody else out there and play as well.
All right.
All right. Well, we will see you next time, my friend.
All right.
Let me see if I got to find our brethren here. Where am I at? There it is.
I think the guitar clip I sent you might be a good ender someday.
Just said that. Hold on a second. There is something we need to check out. Where did I have it? Did I have it? Let me go find it here first. No, it's not on that one. There it is. All right, now let me get back over here. Here. Advance. Let's go to share screen. Where you at? Where'd it go? Where'd you go? Is that it? Right there it is. You see it hit me?
No. I don't see it yet.
What did it just do that for? What did it just do that for? That was weird. I had it on there.
I don't see it.
Okay, hold on a second. One more try, because that was very funny. And you didn't tell me to wait for it. So at first I just thought, it's just going to be this cool little ditty. And then the next thing I know,
it's kind of mystical. My wife was like, why did it fall? Oh, sorry, I ruined it.
Why? Connect to Wi-Fi network. I did connect. Uh-oh. All right, we're going to have to save for next time.
All right.
That's funny, though. God, I do have it.
So just to paint a picture, it's the tree hit of guitar playing, basically. Didn't you think it had that same?
Wow, that's well put. I didn't think of that until just now, but you know what?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
The funny thing is, I kept playing, and there's more video, but I edited it like that because I was like, that's where it's funny right there. If it just stops, Anyway, but there's more song.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to share that one. That one's really good. All right, my friend. All right, guys. Till next week, go out and throw something there, play some disc golf, and
have a blessed day.
Fling it, bro. Have a blessed day. Peace. Oh, I know what's going to have to happen. We're going to have you and Mikey together. He rolls and you fall. That will be very, very funny. All right, folks. See y'all next week. Peace. See you on the disc golf course.